With just the right angle coming at you live, doing a real quick 8:15 broadcast here, day before my birthday. I just came across this story and just thought it was funny, at least for me. You can check it out on your own. It was, I literally just saw this on Facebook and thought, I just had to chime in on this. So this is a broadcast from our local affiliate KATV channel 7, and they're doing a little blurb about a protest. I want you to see this, and I want you to see the image of the protest when they're done. This is the story is by Kylon Williams. I don't know who this reporter. I don't know if this is her or not. Yeah, I'll just play this as real quick. 1 minute here. Let me see.
The streets in Little Rock today calling for immigrant rights and an end to ICE enforcement actions. The Solidarity Without Borders rally brought together supporters waving flags and holding signs, standing in unity with immigrant families who they say have been impacted by deportations and the threat of enforcement raids. Organizers of the protest voiced a strong disapproval with ICE in Arkansas and let immigrants across the state know they have community support.
We don't need them. Nobody needs them. The laws that need to be enforced are on the books. We have the police forces to enforce them. We don't need ICE. I think that's an unconstitutional force that's being pushed on us.
This protest was just one of many across central Arkansas in recent weeks that rallied against ICE's recent actions across the country.
So that's the story right there. I don't need to play it again. I don't know if it's going to click over to some other ad. So I'm going to share you. Hold on a second.
Hey, Scully, look at this.
Oops, sorry. When it's done protest showing something, it automatically goes to a TV show. So you can watch reruns of the X-Files, but that's not kind of really wanted to show you. I wanted to show the actual image they use to show this story right here. And then I've got to show you some of the comments from this. So that's the image of the starting image of this protest. And as you can see there is a whopping 1, 2, 3, 4 people here. Now think about this. There is all kinds of things going on in this state. We have a a primary election happening March 3rd. Mexico is on fire. There is a possible war with Iran, but they took all kinds of time to put this broadcast of this quote unquote protest. And folks, I want you to read some of the comments here because the comments are gold. I wish I could make one of those AI montage videos of the comments on this. This was mine. If it had been 5, KATV7 would have called them a groundswell. 6 would have been a majority of the city. 7 would have been most of the state. 8 would mean a legion, and 9 more would mean an army worthy of Mordor. I couldn't find an army of Mordor when I was posting this via my phone, so I just posted the Chinese army. Let's see here. There are 4 people. That seems more like a meeting than a protest. All 4 of them bless their heart. For those who don't know, in the South, when they say bless your heart, it's not a compliment. 4 people, proof why 84% support deportations in ICE. It's probably around that level, especially in this state. We are all working our 3rd job to support your SSN, guys. Also, thanks for not retiring until 75, but giving your position away to an oppressed class instead of us. Keeping up great work. Immigrants have rights. Those who come illegally are not immigrants. That's very important. And I wish KTV would, and these other news networks, when they talk about this issue, would differentiate between immigrants and illegal aliens. Here's one. It's being reported the massive force surged near the roadway, the noise of their passionate displeasure being heard as far away as across the street. I think The Simpsons had a cartoon about Angry Man Yells at Cloud. Somebody asked, "Are you sure it's not just a couple of people waiting across the street?" Here's one. Instead of using tear gas, the police were forced to throw onions and garlic from the Olive Garden next door. The crowd quickly dispersed and went into the restaurant, eating all the salad and breadsticks, vowing to return tomorrow. There's one. 5 more, and they have a baseball team. Say it's a slow news day without saying it's a slow news day. 6, they could join a softball league. Well, I bet this makes the world news, CNN, maybe. That's not a protest. That's a group farting around until happy hour starts. Let's look at some more comments here. This is from KATV's Facebook page. They all arrived in the same car. Yeah, you could fit them. Heck with the illegals can hit 20 to 30 in a car. Boy, look at that crowd. Well, at least they're able to carpool and combat climate change. I don't know. It looks like they may have had more than one vehicle. Or, I don't know. Markham University had a flock and a half. Oh, this is serious. I came to the country from Germany as an immigrant. I was here for many years, but entered legally. I finally studied, took a test, and received my certificate citizenship with a right to vote. Why can't they do the same? Exactly. Exactly right. That's a serious comment, but still. Yeah, I'll just post. I should copy and paste some of these comments in my own chat, so maybe we can get a couple of people to. Markham University is the intersection in Little Rock where this army of protesters came. Looks like a few to me or 2 couples. The 3 Amagos and Juan Valdez showed. I see. Actually, it's just funny. You notice all these guys are all white. They're not Hispanic. They're not even black. They're a bunch of white liberals who think they speak on behalf of all immigrants or illegal when really they don't. They're just puppets of the Mexican government. Sorry, I clicked on that. That was, yeah. This was the. Let me switch to the newest comments. Oh, this is an interesting one. Are all these people going to let them live with them because the tax money I paid for and ain't paid for them anymore? You want to live here, then enter the correct way like others did. Stop tries to jump the line. Plus, why should we allow open borders so no other country does? It must be from Minnesota. No, the thing is oftentimes these are probably local leftists. There are usually a few of them that infest an area. Looks like a solid majority of the voters support this mission. I think you should stand strong. Keep it up, and you may have a dozen more by Friday. Now, they can draw on some crowds when they take the kiddos out of school because kids get an excuse to skip school. So they can get a crowd if they do that. Heck, even when I was in high school, I wasn't liberal. I probably would have used an excuse to skip school. There's my brother. All 4. Okay. The other 3 were jumping up and down on a quarter mile L. Got to split up, I guess, when you have so many participants. This is such a joke. What's wrong with the news reporting today? Well, today it's actually been a problem. The sad reality is your local media, and this is a somewhat serious matter. Your local media has failed you. Your local media has been a joke for decades. Your local media has been just as complicit in propaganda as your national media, and it's strange because a lot of people remember Tom Brokaw where he did the thing where he tried to forge George Bush's National Guard thing, and they had a typewriter that had the wrong TH on it or something. There was another issue. There's all kinds of stories of these anchors, Connie Chung's Newt Gingrich interview, and a lot of people have turned off national media, but they'll turn on local media. And there's still millions of people that watch ABC, NBC, CBS, MSNBC, CNN, and they think they're getting news. And they're not. Your local media oftentimes lies to you just as much as your national media. And sadly, a lot of people will, determine their political affiliation based upon the opinion uh, given to them by this. And of course, you had this is why ICE in your cities, yeah, and in the blue cities, yeah, there's mobs. Ouch! I twisted my ankle running to the comments. Wow, this gets news of 4 protesters. That's unbelievable. Why these reports get published and talked about, not about children being abused. Interesting story. Also interesting is the fact that this will probably get as much coverage as the death of Jennifer Morton, the nurse who was killed by a Honduran illegal last year in Little Rock, and probably not the only one. I think they're begging for dollars. Unfortunately, in the state of Arkansas, because of the activist judges and the failure of the Republican supermajority to defund the activist judges, we have panhandling here. KATV slow news night. Dig into Epstein files, and you'll have some real news to tell the world. What are you waiting for? Yeah, but not just dig into the files, but find out the context. Like if somebody is mentioned, actually mention what that somebody did. Like when Trump has mentioned the Epstein files, it's the fact that he kicked Epstein out of his hotel. So, more jokes about this. Imagine protesting to keep illegal alien criminals, including rapists and child molesters, in your community. There is no question at this point that leftism is a real mental illness. Yeah, and a lot of people are still registered to the Democrat Party. And thanks to the fact that the Republican Party is run by special interests like the Chamber of Commerce and Municipal League, they may win some elections. There is a special election, District 70. There's a Republican running there. And then there is an election up in Northwest Arkansas where there is a Republican versus an independent. And both of those elections could be seats that the Republican Party loses. Not because the Democrats are any better. It's because, again, the same special interests that years ago propped up the Democrat Party now run the Republican Party. Mainly Chris Caldwell, Chase Duggar, and a handful of cowardly consultants. But the problem is those consultants do media buys. They get money from special interests, and they put TV commercials for a Republican, and all the Republican has to say is, "I'm pro God, I'm pro gun, and I'm pro Trump." And they say their lines, and they have a bunch of actors and a bunch of stuff in the background, and sadly, it works. And so far, it's worked. It worked. The establishment incumbents usually win. Wow, all 4 of them. And KTV thought it was newsworthy that they were protesting. It is only newsworthy for being so pathetic. William Culber. And again, I'm just copying some comments just to put it here on Rumble. Just for fun. It's like a slim term out. If you're here illegally, you're not an immigrant, period. All 4 of them. So remember, these 4 people and the teachers that are telling students to get their kids out and protest for ICE, they want illegals to enter the country. They want them to stay there. They're for open borders, and not just for stopping ICE. By the way, ICE only does raids when they have to if the local police don't cooperate. In Arkansas and in most states, ICE only deport someone, they pick someone up after they've already been arrested for another crime. Like if the drunk illegal Honduran that had killed Jennifer Morton had been detained beforehand and held for ICE, and ICE had picked him up, Jennifer Morton would probably be alive. Same thing with the other victims of illegal alien crime. It's just in a handful of blue states and really blue cities. really are no blue states. It's only a handful of cities that use election fraud to dominate the state. And in these liberal cities, they're able to they have been blocking ICE. The local government has been blocking ICE, and they convince a bunch of leftists like these folks to come out and block ICE. Thankfully, none of them. And so that's where you have the deaths that have occurred because the illegals are so much more important, according to these leftists. So let's see what these people want to bring to Arkansas and to the United States. This is what's going on in Mexico right now, and I'll play some of this.
Vámonos, vámonos. Válgame.
So for those who don't know, the Mexican drug cartels, they have been given military equipment, oftentimes that the USA has given to the Mexican so-called government. And since the government's corrupt, it ends up in the hands of cartels. So yeah, they have grenades, they have tanks, and they have launched an invasion. Apparently, a Mexican drug cartel leader was killed. I had El Mencho, and I believe he was recently either killed during an apprehension of some kind. I don't know the exact details of that. Well, that's full auto fire that you're hearing. I don't know where this is, but of course they don't need an FFL license or whatever it is you need to get a full auto. And there's actual civil war going on in Mexico. Now, there's already been protests because the people there are sick of the corrupt cartel puppet president lady, and they're demanding reform, just like they're demanding in Iran and other places across the nation. But yeah, so, you know, the ATF, instead of manslaughtering Malinowski, they could go down here and stop gunfire there. This is at an airport.
No mames. ¿Están bien?
Good. And if you see images, there's one. Oh, here's an aerial image of what's going on. There you go. If you have any plans to go visit Mexico, you may want to cancel them because, well, it's on fire. And the sad thing is this has happened because instead of forcing reform in these nations like we have for so many other places, we just kept saying, let more illegals in. We had the 86 amnesty. We've had all kinds of minor amnesties besides that. And again, your local media, instead of talking about corruption in Mexico, instead of talking about corruption in these third world countries and focusing on reforming them, tried to guilt trip white people into saying you need to let more, people from the third world in. And so you end up with clowns like this and clowns like Renee and Good and that other guy who died trying to fight Immigration Customs Enforcement from picking up very horrible people, not just illegals, but illegals who have committed horrible crimes. Here's a picture montage of what's going on. Those four people, this is what they want in your country. what they want in your state in your backyard. I don't know how many people died there. I mean, it could easily go into the thousands. Remember, this is third world, so they blow up the power grid. These people don't have generators. They're already in, having a problem with food, and you get something like this, so you could have more people starve. And folks, that's your local media for you. That's what that's not what these four people want. That's what KATV wants. Now, of course, they'll never tell you this. They'll try to claim they are objective. But Kyla and Williams, you notice in their little story, I can put the whole story right here, the whole minute thing. They never bothered to even say we attempted to reach out to someone who was opposed, who supported ICE, but got no, got nothing. No, they don't bother to do that. And there's going to be some other leftist protest out there when they have them. KTV and the other local TV networks will do everything in their power to try to prop them up. But again, you need to tell you need to tell everyone in addition to tell them the research candidates that are running for office, find out who their campaign managers are, find out what they've done, what they were doing during the COVID jab, what they've done on this issue. And if they haven't held office, well, guess what? There's a lot you can do without holding office. There's a lot I've done. I was part of the effort to stop in-state tuition for illegal aliens. That was years ago. And try to get more people to wake up and realize what's going on, that they need to reform the Republican Party. They need to kick out the pro-illegal alien consultants that are in the Republican Party. Fix it so we don't end up with this problem. We already have lots of it. We already have people die from fentanyl from across the border. From violence and from drunk driving. Drunk drivers have actually illegal alien drunk drivers kill more people than even violent crime. There's all kinds of thefts and assaults that goes on, and it's going to keep happening. And that's one reason why Trump was elected, to get rid of this problem. And I'll say this for him: there's some things I may disagree with Donald Trump on, but on this issue, he has been doing a great job, and certainly a far better job than the people that were controlling Sleepy Joe. And this is the kind of stuff we would probably be seeing here in the U.S. if Kamala had been elected, or more accurately, if Charlie Kirk hadn't kicked out Ronna McDaniel from the RNC, so the Democrats couldn't steal an election, and so we were able to elect Trump. If Charlie Kirk hadn't done his thing against Ronna McDaniel, we would probably be seeing this here more in the U.S. So yeah, there's a montage there. Well, folks, I just wanted to, again, chime in on this. If you want to, you can go to, I've clicked the link to this photo. So you can come in there if you're on Facebook, make your own comments. Feel free to add your own perspective on this. I've put it in the description section, and I put it here in the chat. There's a lot of comments on here, and there's some memes. Go ahead and have fun with this. For what? Oh wow, somebody already used some AI there. Those 4 people need to go to another country and so how hard it is to become a citizen. Not any different here. Oh, shucks, I mixed the live. No, not quite, not quite. Not quite, Princess Culia. I'm still on. I was just about to sign off, but yeah. Here, I'm also gonna post my video. I'm gonna try to post link to my Rumble video. Now, of course, Facebook disables hyperlinks, so you'll have to copy and paste any link. They did that a while ago. Before, when you put a link, it would show up. Was Waffle House closed? No, most people in Waffle House probably are opposed to this. They should grab these communists up with the illegals. If you're this stupid ignorant, you don't deserve to be in this country. Sick of these people, not one of these idiots who take an illegal in, but want them in the country. What hypocrites. Absolutely right, Richard Nesler. Illegals don't belong here. Come the right way. Every country has immigration laws. Maybe misspelled, but yeah, perfect point. Now I say deport them. I say trade them in for 4 people who come here who have come here legally. There's room on the boat, guys. The comment section does not disappoint. Now, I don't know if it'll let me put an image on here. Oh, look. Here, let me do this just so I can show them what the civil war going on in Mexico. In reality, it's been going on for decades. Now, I don't know if any of this is going to be any of the civil war in Mexico is going to destroy Carlos Slim's property. And for those who don't know, he is at certain points in time he's been the richest man in the world. But of course, he didn't do it by any kind of innovation. He did it by having a monopoly on the telephone systems in Mexico. Let's see this guy's name. Kylon. No, it does not disappoint. Really, you can have more people at a watch party for a UFC fight or a get together for tea. Now, sadly, like I said, the Democrat Party, they do have some people here. The, the recruitment tactics. Yeah, well, I think they're running out of money, and they're finding out this Bob Bailey. I don't know if this is the guy that ran for office. Hot Springs has the world's smallest parade. It's actually the world's smallest St. Patrick's Day parade. But Little Rock now has the world's smallest protest. Yeah, it is pretty sad. There were so many it made headlines. A true poll. I guess they wrote. Yeah, you're right, Princess Leia. I'm sure they wait for a bus. No, they're not waiting for a bus. They had the interview. I'm overwhelmed. Must have been a slow news day. I don't, and remember, this is the image they put up. But yeah, on a serious note, yeah, this what rights these innocent victims have. If you protest, you're a puss. Yeah, these are people that were killed by illegals. This is Kate Steinle right here. I think these two were killed by a drunk illegal. I can't tell if that's Jamil Shaw. That's a poor woman that was killed in Georgia, Lincoln Riley. Believe that's her. And Jennifer Morton should be on there as well. And this is why you need to be upset at KATV7 and on the rest of your local media, because they're not informing the public. They're putting on a propaganda front, and they're so desperate to do that they never even thought that this would harm their cause. But understand this: your local media, especially the producers, the ones who make the final decision, they're just as leftist as Joe Biden, Nancy Pelosi, Kamala Harris, Joe Biden back when he had a mind, George Soros, Bill Gates, Charles Schwab, or that Schwab guy, BlackRock, Vanguard, the globalist people. They're just as globalists. They just put on a front and a fake smile pretending that they're nonpartisan. And again, in conjunction with a few Republican consultants that run the Republican Party. And they have both a political reason to support illegal immigration and a financial reason, because as long as globalist anti-conservative politicians are in charge, they get more media buys. So you need to tell especially elderly folks that are watching TV, hey, you know what you're watching is not real. You know what you're watching is a fake. Let me go over to KATV7 on Twitter X and see if they were dumb enough to put this story and some of the comments in it. I do try to screen this when you come in. When I did like a little bit of research beforehand. Okay, let's see here. Oh, here we go. Here's KTV protest. 909 views. I'll post now here I can post my link and it'll actually show up as a link. It won't show up as just some lights here. Where's the SWAT team for crowd control? All three of them. Yep. And Lincoln Riley may be misspelled, but the point comes across. 1 Karen and 3 Karens. Now that's a protest. An armed man got arrested at Mar-a-Lago today, and KTV News is out pumping this out. You can't hate these people enough. Wow. So there you go. Apparently there was another assassination attempt on top of the possible war with Iran, Mexico being on fire, the Olympics, something more important than this. So many people. I don't know why that's there. You have to be careful with Twitter, showing stuff on Twitter X. Here's Truth Social, but for some reason, when you try to find something on Truth Social, it gets very hard to find anything on there. You type in Arkansas, you type in something, and you don't really get a local thing. So again, we really need is a lot of these conservative websites. They for some reason can't seem to really get local. Oh, there's a human trafficking ring that was busted. This was February 15th. A lot of Hispanics here, by the way. 340 arrested, missing child recovery during U.S. Marshals operation in Northwest Arkansas, February 13th. Yeah, the problem is, again, we need alternatives to Facebook and Twitter. By the way, Elon Musk is no friend of conservatives. He pretends to be because Donald Trump happens to be in charge. But Elon Musk is is still a con man. Local conservatives who are trying to fight against globalism are still shadow banned, like myself. We're not actually given real access. Now, people that talk about global stuff that you can't really do anything about, yeah, they're still propped up, and all kinds of conspiracy theories are, conservative activists that maybe do some good, but don't really that aren't very effective at making real change are propped up. But people like me are shadow banned. I just recently had to redo my Twitter account because they allowed it to be hacked and gave me no chance to try to recover my account. Yeah, they fit everyone in the photo. All right. Well, folks, I think I've been piddling around with this. Yeah, I had to set up another account, Princess Kulia. You're right. Anyway, I've never been. I've been on there too long, so I need to go ahead and turn this off. Get ready for another week. But y'all follow me at Just the Right Angle. If you like what you see in the comment section, in the description of this, there is a bunch of links that you can click. The Fund More Video Projects, Cash App, Ko-fi, Fundly, and PayPal. List of consultants that you need to avoid, and some other organizations that are helping fight for your liberty. Check those out. Anyway, you have a wonderful day. Remember, when the righteous rule, the people rejoice. When the wicked rule, the people groan. So I need to end this and get some sleep.